Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by Mr. Frank Smith here on weigh-in day, Lewis Crocker fight night. How you doing, Frank?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very, very well. Just one day away now. We spoke a lot about Lewis Crocker yesterday, but I want to touch on the co-main, the main chief support in Chev Clarke against Tommy McCarthy. Really well-balanced fight, that one.
Yeah, great fight. Look, you got an experienced fighter in Tommy McCarthy. What's he had? 25, close to 30 fights probably, going in against Chev Clarke in just his 8th fight. But Chev, a decorated amateur, we've seen what he's done in the amateurs, but he needs to move quickly at this stage of his career, and this is the perfect fight for him, especially if he wants to go into those fights we're talking about for him. You know, after this we'd be looking at the British title for sure, but Tommy's a perfect opponent for him, so excited for that fight, and I think we're going to learn a lot about him on Saturday night.
Do you see Chev as a favourite going into that?
I think so. I think so. Off the back of some of Tommy's previous performances, you know, he obviously said yesterday he's focused on this fight. He's coming. He's trained hard and he's ready. But you know, I think you have to put Chev in as the favourite for sure. But it's a proper fight, and you know, the kind of fight we need to make.
Talk about the British title there. He's been mandatory for that title for around 8 months now, and speaking to him yesterday, I think there is a little bit of frustration there. Will that be 100% focus and the aim for Chev next?
Yeah, for sure. Look, we made a massive offer to Isaac Chamberlain via Boxer to do that fight, like the biggest offer by a million miles that he's ever earned. I think they're looking at going another route, so hopefully they vacate the belt and allow Chev his opportunity to fight for it.
We talked about Lewis Crocker yesterday, but Paddy Donovan on the card as well. And you look down the line, speaking to Paddy and to Lewis yesterday, possibly a mega fight. It's not a fight that they want next or in the next year or so. They want that down the line in an arena. It could really be a huge, huge fight.
I think that could be a big arena fight next. Yeah, in the where they are in their careers, I think that's a perfect fight for both of them. And win, lose or draw, they come out of it. The winner comes out, obviously, looking at big fights in the 147 division, but the loser, you know, by taking a fight like that, by putting it on the line, people respect that, and that's what boxing needs more of. And I'm confident we could see that fight next, and I'm confident it would sell out the arena here in Belfast.
Speaking to Jamie Conlan yesterday about Mick Conlan and his loss to Jordan Gill, he seems to think that Mick wants to achieve more in this sport and not hang up the gloves. For yourself, what would you like to see him do?
Look, he's standing just behind you there. Look, you know, Mick's in a good position that financially he's done tremendously well in the sport, you know, and because he's worked hard for it, he's had some amazing fights, and he's done so much both as an amateur and professional. So if he decided to retire, you couldn't question that. But at the same time, if he feels like he's still got more to offer and he still wants more from the sport, then that's only for his, you know, that's his decision to make. There's still big fights out there to be made for him. You know, he's a real character. He sells a lot of tickets and he's got a massive profile. So there's always going to be fights for him. It's up to him as to what stage of his life he's at and what he wants to do.
Well, we're in this area of the world, we do need to speak about Katy Taylor. We saw her produce one of her all-time great performances against Chantelle last time out. Is the aim moving towards the third fight there?
That's the fight we want to make. Look, it's 1-1. The trilogy is the perfect fight there. You know, we represent both Katy and Chantelle, and I think it's a fight that deserves that trilogy. You know, both of them put it all on the line those 2 times. 2 of the best nights I think we've ever seen in boxing, and I think we'd love to see that again.
There's no shortage of options for Katy Taylor. Is that the biggest fight for her, you think?
That's the fight we're focused on making, yeah. There's lots of big fights there. There's lots of big fights. You know, there's the Serrano fight. Someone brought up the Jonas fight the other day for Katy Taylor. Could be interesting. But for me, the Chantelle Cameron fight's the fight we want to make.
Someone I've seen dotting around fight week this week is Mr. Sonny Edwards. Unfortunately, was on the loss. Came out on the losing side last time out. What's the plan for him?
We want to get him back out sort of June time, hopefully looking for another world title shot at another weight. Let's see, you know, possibly against the non-Shinga Curiel winner, which takes place on Feb 16th. I think that's a great fight. Let's see how things play out on that front, but it'd be good to get Sonny back out there. He went in there and he showed a lot of heart, and he made a lot of fans that night, although he didn't get the win. I think, you know, he built his profile and built himself in that fight, and yeah, he's got so much more to offer the sport.
Sonny's someone that splits opinion very much in person and on social media as well. Sometimes when you lose a fight, you can earn fans that way. People like seeing people lose, don't they? Do you think he's probably gained fans from that?
100%, but he was very honest, and he also knows that he's done a lot of things in the past, like whether on purpose, that wind people up, that get to people. So he knew that if that moment was to come, he was going to have to deal with a lot of shit from people, but he gained a lot of respect from people as well, because he didn't quit in that fight. You know, he literally gave it his everything. He's gained a lot of fans in that.
We touched on Josh Taylor against Jack Catterall yesterday. Eddie Hearn saying that he believes that will be on a pay-per-view fight, and with the money they want, maybe they wouldn't be able to offer the money that they want. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it has to make, all of these things have to make sense for everyone. It's not a pay-per-view fight for us. It's a great fight. It's a brilliant fight, and but if it means the fight happening on another platform, then so be it. You know, Jack, we've had a great journey with him, and I'm sure we'll continue even if he was to go somewhere else for this one. So, see how things play out.
What are the other options and the big fights out there for Jack Catterall? Because I think many people see Josh Taylor as the biggest fight for him.
Yeah, I think it is the biggest fight. I think if he can go in, and I believe he can, if he can go in and beat Josh Taylor like he beat him the first time around, didn't get the result, but he did, then it sets him up for big fights in the... You know, he wants to fight for a world title as well, but I think firstly he wants to right this wrong, and I think getting a win like that will boost his profile even further and set him up for those world title shots.
A little bit of heavyweight talk. I saw a tweet from Derek Chisora this morning saying welcome back with a picture of David Haye attached. Can you shed any light on that at all?
I guess he just got back from Costa Rica. I think that... I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's coming back. Maybe he's just got back from Costa Rica. Who knows? Or maybe he smells some big fights in the heavyweight division. Let's see.
I've probably missed something there, haven't I? In terms of AJ Ngannou and the relationship now between Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and Queensbury and Matchroom, it seems such a change from what we've seen over the last few years. Is it a little bit strange still?
I mean, the reality is we never really knew each other to dislike each other. It was driven by all of this and saying things, and everyone each other saying things about each other, and driven by the media. Don't get me wrong, we said things, they said things, and it is what it is. But actually, we didn't know them. You know, we didn't. We'd done work with George Warren and always got on well with George Warren and made things happen. But now there's actually a relationship where you can sit down and have a conversation, which is going to benefit the sport.
How much of a difference does that make as well to the fighters involved in both stables? Because it just opens so many more doors.
Yeah, it means we can make the best fights between our stables. Look, at the end of the day, we're always going to be competitors. We're opposing businesses. That's always going to be the way. But at the same time, we want to do the best things for our fighters and for our broadcasters. So, you know, if that means delivering great fights between us, then we'll do that.
Does this feel like the first time that everybody's been pulling towards that AJ against Tyson Fury fight? It feels like every time we've got to a stage with it, there's been something in the way, but is everybody pulling in the right direction now? Yeah,
look, but then neither of those fighters will be looking past what they've got ahead of them. You know, Tyson Fury's got Alexander Usyk, Feb 17th, massive undisputed fight. AJ's got Ngannou. They need to get through that first. So yeah, that's the focus, and then we work from there. But if there's ever a time that fight can be made, it's now.
Thank you very much for your time, Frank.
Cheers, mate. See you.
Good.